I just completed NaNoWriMo. NaNoWriMo is National Novel Writing Month. And so basically at this point in life, I know that October, I'm going to be busting the entire month to get a Halloween costume done. Whether I even wear it anywhere or not, it's my time to do something creative outside of what I normally build. Because I just don't normally build costumes. But November is when I write a novel. Well, technically I don't write a novel anymore. I write screenplays. But I first did NaNoWriMo all the way back in 2009. In that year, I've been writing short stories. This is probably the greatest thing I've ever found on the internet. I found this site, and there's a bunch of people, they would just do bi-weekly story challenges, writing challenges. And so I started writing short stories, and I kind of expected them to say, your stuff is terrible, like, don't enter this thing. But they were very receptive, they were very complimentary about what I'd written, and so I kept writing, and then somebody in that group said, hey, NaNoWriMo, you guys need to do it. So I did it. And I had this big plan for a zombie book. And then back in 2009, it was before The Walking Dead, before zombies had this big resurgence. And NaNoWriMo is 50,000 words. That's how many words you need to write. It's a personal challenge. You get that done, boom, you've won NaNoWriMo. That is 1,600 words a day. And so that first year, I had grandiose plans. And I wrote everything I had anticipated to write, 12,000 words. I still had almost 40,000 words to write to complete it, and I didn't know what I was going to do because I'd finished my story. I did complete it. It was hard. I mean, the first year was really the roughest year. There were times where I thought I was a good writer. There were times where I thought I was terrible and I should never write anything again. But I got it done. I mean, it was a marathon. I'd never run a marathon before, and so it was a little bit of learning how to do it. It did take me 4 years to recover. Next time I did NaNoWriMo was 2013. It was rough. It was a rough experience. I mean, it was rewarding. I finished, but it was not fun. 2013, I do it again. I write another novel. And part of my thing is I don't want to waste any words. If I write words October 31st, I can't count them for November, so I'd not write anything beforehand and just do it all. I'd fly by the seat of my pants. I didn't have an outline, I didn't have a plan, and just I kind of had something up here, and I just went forward. I was writing a few scenes at a time. In 2014, I'm going to get started. I didn't. 2015, I did it, and I've done it every single year since 2015. So that is 7 years in a row that I've done it every year. Back in 2018, I stopped doing novels. I don't read a ton. I mean, maybe I read a novel a year. Sometimes I go in spurts where I might read, 5 or 6 novels in a year. But it's not something I regularly do. I do know how to read, but I never felt like I had a good handle on novels. I mean, I'm not a great writer. I think sometimes I'm, competent. I mean, I've gone back and read some of my short stories, and some of them I think, oh wow, I can't believe I wrote that. That's really good. Some of them I think, yeah, I'm not very polished. The novel thing, I never felt like I had a good handle on it, so I started doing screenplays in 2018. But still, because there used to be a NaNoWriMo, which is National NaNoWriMo Month, and then there was a Script Frenzy, which you had to write a screenplay in a month. And Script Frenzy, it became defunct before I ever got there. So NaNoWriMo, I'll do my own thing. And so basically 50,000 words is 2.5-3 scripts. So I still keep in the spirit of NaNoWriMo. I'm still writing 50,000 words, but I do it in screenplay form. And I enjoy that a lot more. I've done, I know I've done at least 2.5, 3 scripts every year. The third one sometimes gets a little light, because once I hit 50,000 words, I'm just done. Any desire I had to write leaves me immediately. I'm done. And I really, at this point, I only write during NaNoWriMo. I don't do any more short stories. I keep thinking, I need to pick that up again, because I wrote, I think for 2 years, I was writing a short story every other week, sometimes one every week. I mean, I amassed a bunch of short stories, and, it's one of those things, I feel like if I don't use that skill, I'll lose it. But it is what it is. But now, at this point in the process, I know I'm doing NaNoWriMo, it's not a question, and I brainstorm about a week before November. I start brainstorming. What am I going to do this year? What are the ideas? I keep a list of ideas I have. Do I want to pick from that? Do I have something new? This year, 2021, I knew that I wanted to do something cyberpunk sci-fi. I mean, that is just my jam. I love cyberpunk. So usually one of my stories is always sci-fi related. So I knew I had that. I wanted to really kind of work into it, architecture and building and engineering, because that's my field. And so I know a lot about that, and it kind of works for me. So I was like, all right, got an idea. Boom. Second idea, I knew I wanted to do a mystery. I'd never done a mystery. I can say with the utmost confidence that this year my mystery is not very good. Because you want a mystery where you can kind of piece along. You get to the end, you think, oh, what were the pieces there? I don't have that. I mean, maybe it works for this story. I don't know, but I don't feel great about it. My third one, I wanted to do horror. I'd never written horror, and I thought this was it. And So those are my ideas. I did a little bit of brainstorming beforehand. I think I got really heavy into the outlining the first day. And when I started, I did not outline. And that is a mistake. I would recommend outlining. I never really get writer's block per se because I always know where I'm headed. Like, I got this outline, I know this is where I'm going, because I do the entire outline, start to finish. Now, it changes drastically along the way. As you write this story, the characters tell you things, you learn things, you realize things, and it changes. It's ever evolving. But as long as you have, or at least as long as I have that plan to where I'm going in the end, I never get writer's block. I may write a few bad scenes, but I know where I'm going. It's just a matter of like, all right, I'm here, how do I get there? You can do it well, which is, the optimal choice, or you can just do it kind of rough and be like, I'll go back and do it later. I mean, in NaNoWriMo, I do a lot of kind of notes in the margins types of things, thinking, oh, I need to fix this. This changes the beginning. Sometimes I'll go back. Sometimes it's just such a major change that just ripples throughout the entire thing that I can't go back into it. Outline. Outlining is great. And I just, the first day, I outlined my first 2 stories, the sci-fi, the mystery, and I did it. I mean, I was like, all right, this is it. And I kept kind of rearranging and filling in until it felt right. And I don't know how to describe it other than that. It's just like once it feels right, I know I need kind of the beginning, middle, end, and I know kind of how I want all those things to fall. And I just keep thinking about it until it's right. Now, the third story, my horror, I didn't outline that until I'd finished the first 2. I knew I knew I wanted it to be about somebody afraid of the dark. And I started writing, and this outline, it did not come together, so I started writing with a very lacking outline. It was rough. I mean, that was by far my first story. I didn't know where I was going. I knew I had this person afraid of the dark. Well, what's the issue? I'm not quite sure. How do they resolve it? Well, I don't know the issue, so I don't know how they resolve it. What's the end game? Didn't know any of it. So it was very rough, and I did get through it, but it is a rough script. And usually my third one's always a little lighter, but at least there's something there. I mean, there's a lot of my scripts I've written that I think, hey, this could be something. I mean, these are all rough drafts. They are very rough. Once you get to the end, you kind of realize, now I have a handle on this thing. Now I need to go back from the beginning and really polish it and make it right, make it good. But I've never, ever gone back and read anything I've written in NaNoWriMo. Never. It's one of those things where I tell people, if I don't go back and read it, I don't know whether it's good or bad, but I'm kind of in limbo. If it is bad, I don't know. If it's good, I don't know either, but I'm kind of trying to protect myself from it being bad because it's possible. NaNoWriMo is a rough time. I will, during NaNoWriMo, I tell a bunch of people about NaNoWriMo. I tell them, hey, if you only write 10 words, it's 10 words you wouldn't have written otherwise. So then next year, write 20 and keep building up. But I want to talk about NaNoWriMo. I want to talk about my experience because it's a blast. Give me an hour. I can do 1,000 words an hour. Past that, I just need a break. So I think the most words I've ever written in a day was 8,000, which is wild. But there's been a couple years where I'm very slow to start. And so I needed that 8,000 to get up to par. Par, 1,600 words a day. I usually aim for 2,000 a day just so that I have some leeway. Like this year, I was 2,000 every day consistent up until the 21st. And I knew that during Thanksgiving, the holiday, I'd have some time to write. So that week before Thanksgiving, I would have finished a week ahead of Thanksgiving. Well, that week before, since I knew I was like, oh, I got Thanksgiving, I didn't write any. I plateaued, which is fine. I did finish on the next to last day. I did get most of my words in on Thanksgiving. This year I did 4,000 words a few times, but really for me, I need an hour, 1,000, break, an hour, 1,000. Like, it doesn't really matter how short that break is. If it's a 30-minute break, that's all I need to recharge, kind of think it, because the story's always going through my head the entire time of the month. Then I jump right back into it, and I go. And that's NaNoWriMo. That is kind of my process. I've kind of refined this over the years to where I know how long I need to work. I know like 1,000. I mean, if I try to do more than that, it just gets tough. There's been very few times where you just kind of reach this flow state where you just go. I don't think I've been in that flow state for years. I know I didn't hit it this year. I'm pretty sure I didn't hit it last year. Did I hit it the year before that? I don't know. Maybe it's just elusive. Maybe you just think you have the flow state and it's just elusive, this imaginative thing. I don't know, because at this point it certainly seems like it. I know that I need to outline, because as long as I kind of know where I'm going, and my outline, I'm never really at a loss for ideas. That outline, I mean, my outlines, they're good, and they really help guide me where I know where I'm going. And then too, that 2 steps back approach, kind of seeing the outline, not really getting down in the weeds. It gives me a sense of how does this story work. You can kind of spot some problems in that outline and that 1 sentence per idea thing. You can spot some problems early on that'll help you just streamline the rest of it. That is NaNoWriMo. I've completed it. I've done it 7 years in a row. That is 9 total, and it doesn't even seem like that long. So I've done it 9 total, and since 2018, so four of those years, I've done screenplays. I usually do 2.5, 3. So I mean, that's potentially 10 to 12 screenplays. That is 4 novels. Is that right, or 5 novels? That'd be 5 novels. That's a lot of writing. None of it's published. Will I ever seek to publish it? The books, no way, because I know those are beyond rough. I would not put that on anybody to read those books. The screenplays, not in their current state. They are not good in their current state. I do think many of them have potential. Yeah, there's one I wrote last year. There's one I wrote the year before that they still kind of stick with me. I think could be very good. They need that polish, because once you get to the end, you kind of realize how it all fits together, and then you got to fix that. I write that day. The next day I go back, I read what I wrote the previous day, because a lot of times I read, I'm like, oh, I had this idea, this didn't make the page, this idea didn't make it to the page. You know, as I was writing it, I saw this in my head of this setting, that didn't make it to the page. So I try to go back, because there's just so much stuff that I think is on the page that's not, that would be nice to be there. So I wanted to capture this moment, because man, NaNoWriMo, it's fun. I really enjoy it. I encourage everybody else to do it. And I just, you know, this is one of these things where these memories, if you don't capture them on video, they're lost. What is it in Blade Runner? You know, like Tears in the Rain. This is a project. It's just unfortunate I can't really like show you a physical end result of this project, because it's all just digital ones and zeros, words on a page.